Transitioning into a full-time stock trader. That's the dream, isn't it? You get to leave your 9 to 5, leave your boss you don't like, leave your commute, leave your salary that you don't want, and say, hey, how can I become a full-time stock trader? Deck, this is my dream job. This is my dream goal. How do I get to the position that you're at? How do I wake up every morning, trade stocks, and be able to have enough funds to be able to live my life? So I want to make sure before you make that step, before you make that decision of becoming a full-time stock trader, that you have everything in line, because there were things that I did right and there were things that I did wrong that I wish I knew. So I'm going to go over both of them and make sure that you are perfectly prepared before becoming a full-time stock trader. So what are the primary steps to become a full-time stock trader and be able to have this amazing job for a living? Well, number one is you need experience. Obviously, that is straightforward. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not being a profitable trader, you're not going to be able to do this for a living. But you would be shocked on how many people email me and say, hey, Deck, I just quit my job. I'm ready to become a full-time stock trader. Can you teach me how to trade? If you are saying, can you teach me how to trade, and I'm going to be a full-time stock trader starting next week in the same sentence, those are going to be a very bad combination. You need to build up before you become a full-time stock trader. Let's think about it this way. Imagine if you want to be an athlete, okay? You want to be an NFL player, you want to be a golfer, you want to be a basketball player, you want to be whatever. Do you just say, hey, I don't know how to play football, I don't know how to play basketball, but pay me to be able to do that? No one's going to pay you that. People have been playing since high school. People play since college. People then get paid to be able to make a living for it. Same exact thing with stock trading. Not saying you go to high school and college and then you become a professional, but I'm going to say it's the same amount of years. It's the years that add up to actually make you great at this. And if you don't have the years behind you, knowing what works, knowing what doesn't, getting those rookie mistakes out, building that experience level, that's when you're going to be able to be successful and be able to go through those trials and know how to handle them when they do come. We also need to have the bankroll. Now, what does this mean? Bankroll is going to be extremely important, which means we have to have the funds. We have to have the funds to be able to trade. We have to have the funds to be able to live our lives. We're going to have to be able to have the funds in our accounts already so that we're able to trade, be able to live off those funds for 1, 2, 3 months, be able to take profits from our broker account, and then be able to do it over and over and over again. And last but not least, you need to treat this as a full-time job. Traders, you can't understand how many people tell me, hey, Deck, I'm a full-time stock trader now. And then they trade for 10 minutes and then they go live their lives. And that's great and that's fine to do at occasion. But if you only work 10 minutes a day, you will see that it will start to slip away. You'll start making different errors. You'll start making different mistakes. You'll start losing cash. You'll start realizing that, hey, I'm not making as much as I did before. If you want to treat this as a full-time job, or if this is your full-time job, you need to still put in the work. You need to put in the hours. Now, the beautiful thing about being a stock trader, yes, there's that occasional time that you say, hey, I made some money, I'm going to go enjoy the day. That's beautiful, and that's what's so great about it. But you can't do that every day. If you're sleeping in every single day, if you're leaving after 2 minutes every single day, you're going to see that you're going to start getting sloppy. So let's break down each one of these key points into a little bit more, and I can dive into exact detail of exactly what you need to be able to become a full-time stock trader. So number one is going to be experience. Trading for at least 1 year part-time, consistently making enough to live, and don't lie to yourself. So what does this mean here? When I'm saying trade for at least 1 year, 1 year is going to at least give you that understanding of the market. For me, I traded for 3 years of part-time before I actually became a full-time stock trader. Now, when I say trade part-time, I want you guys to note that there are so many traders out there in the world who have full-time 9 to 5 jobs. But guess what? They wake up every single morning, they trade for maybe 20 to 30 minutes, they make $200, then they go to their real-time job. And imagine if you made $200 every single day. For anyone who does not know, let's just add this math up right here together. $200 times 251 days in the stock market, that's a $50,000 salary. So imagine if you wake up every single day, trade a quick stock, make a quick $200, then go to your 9 to 5 job. Your 9 to 5 job pays $60,000. You trading at the end of the year have $50,000 to $60,000 in your bank account right there. Now you're making $110,000 a year just like that. That is incredible. That's amazing. And this is one thing that a lot of people honestly do and stick with. They still keep their 9 to 5 job, but at the same time, they just block off that first hour. The first hour is just for stock trading. If you guys are on the West Coast, it is a little bit easier because you might have to get your job on the East Coast at 9 o'clock. You might have to get to your job on the East Coast at 10 o'clock, 9:30, 8 o'clock, whatever it may be. But on the West Coast, the stock market opens up at 6:30. So what a lot of people do is they wake up early, they trade for that first 30 minutes to an hour, then they get ready and they head to work. And that's a beautiful little combo right there where you can be able to still make money trading and be able to have your 9 to 5 job. But being able to trade for at least 1 year, you are going to want to get all those rookie mistakes out. As you guys know, I paper traded for my entire first year. I didn't have the funds to be able to make enough money to be able to say, hey, you know what? I can do this as a full-time job. When I first started stock trading, I lost and I lost and I lost and I lost and I lost. Just like, let's go back to the athletic example and we want to be a professional athlete. Hey, I want to be a football player. Hey, I want to play quarterback. Okay, you're going to throw a pick. Okay, you're going to get sacked. Okay, you don't know how to read a defense. You don't know how to do this, or you don't know how to do that. Guess what? You are going to make mistakes. It comes with time. So the more time you put in and the more time you actually learn the right way to trade, the better chance you have of shortening that learning curve and becoming a full-time stock trader even quicker. But you must be able to be honest with yourself and say, hey, how much do I really know in such a quick amount of time? So let's go back to this point right here. Consistently enough to make a living off of this. So many traders say, hey, Deck, I want to be a full-time stock trader. Great, but how much money are you actually making? You can't switch to becoming a full-time stock trader if you are a losing trader, if you are a negative trader, if you are a trader that has blown up account after account after account. This brings us to our third point. Don't lie to yourself. You have to be able to say, hey, I need to support myself. I need to support my wife, my husband. I need to support my children. I need to be able to pay my bills. I need to be able to do this. You have to be able to say to yourself, am I consistently good enough to be a great stock trader, to be a full-time stock trader? And it really comes on down to don't lie to yourself. The last thing I want someone to do is just get so pumped up about stock trading, which I love. I love enthusiasm. I love the energy that you're bringing. But at the same time, for you to quit your job and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and be a full-time stock trader. Well, do you make any money? Not yet. I don't make any money, but I will. That's not the type you want to be. Because guess what? Next thing you know, you're going to be broke and you're going to be unemployed. So that's the last thing that you want to be doing. You have to be honest with yourself. Keep that 9 to 5 job until you're making just as much as your 9 to 5 job or even more. And now you're saying my 9 to 5 job is really getting in the way of me. I need to go ahead and I need to start, getting rid of that 9 to 5 so I can focus more on stock trading. So let's get to that next point, which is going to be bankroll. Now, this depends on you and your living conditions. So let's think about this. How much money do you spend every single month? So I got some examples behind me. I got rent, $1,400. That could be for an apartment. That could be for a mortgage. That could be whatever. And $1,400, this could vary. I lived over in Hoboken, New Jersey. I lived up near New York City. This is probably cheap for a one-person apartment there. Okay, usually one person's are like $1,700, $1,800. If you guys have roommates and you're splitting something, it might just be $1,000. If you guys have a mortgage, you guys can relate it to you, but this is just an example. Groceries. Again, something that's going to vary. For me, probably $700. I go out, I buy my groceries every single week, every single 2 weeks. I probably average right around $200, $250 for every single time I go to the grocery market, and I'm going to be able to get my food that I want to eat throughout the week. Bills, our heating, our water, our electricity, our cable, our car insurance, our fun money. So basically what we have right here is we have $3,220, aka $38,000 a year is me just spent on being able to have a place to live, being able to have a car, to be able to have my groceries, and to be able to be a human, to be able to have a little bit of fun. So if you said, okay, I've been trading the last 2 years and I have not been able to make at least $3,220 per month, or I have not been able to make at least $38,000 trading stocks yet, then you have to be honest with yourself and say, am I good enough to be a stock trader full time at this moment? So what you have to do is go over to Excel right now, break down every single expense that you have, break it down. And be honest with yourself. This whole entire lesson is about honesty. And say, how much do I pay for gas? What do I usually spend when we go out to dinner with my wife or my husband? And again, I like buying these clothes, and maybe I like to go play golf, and maybe I do this with my friends. And then I also do have my car insurance, and I do have my bills, and I do have my groceries, and I do have my rent, and I do have my mortgage, and I do this and I do that, whatever it may be, and figure out how much money you spend every single month. Well, guess what, guys? That's your new baseline that you have to at least get to for you to be able to keep your normal life going to. Then multiply that by 12. That's over the next 12 months. So this is something that you have to do to really say to yourself, can I be able to make this much in the market to have the life that I have now? Now, obviously, if you are used to making $38,000 per year, we want to get you to $70,000, $80,000, $110,000. Stock trading is not just about getting past the bare minimum. It's about exceeding. And you be saying to yourself, yeah, you know what? Now I can go ahead and I can go get a nicer house, or I can get a nicer car, or whatever it may be, because you're able to make more money. Or on top of that, you can keep the same living and be able to save more up and be able to start different business adventures. Or you can go ahead and invest in different things, or you can go ahead and have more free time and feel more secure financially. So they're all different things that you want to be on top of. Now, as I already stated, traders, you got to be honest with yourself. So how much are you making per month? How much money do you have saved up? How long could you live if you didn't trade well? So not only do we have to say to yourself, am I making this much? But we also want to have at least 4 months of living saved up. Example, if you spend $3,000 a month, have $12,000 saved up. Now, the reason why I say this is because you don't want to be living on the edge. You don't want to be trading with extra pressure. Trust me, guys, trading is hard enough already. The last thing that you guys want to be doing is saying, man, oh man, I had a bad month and now I'm going into the negative on my account. Now I don't have any food for groceries. I don't have this. I don't have that. I can't pay my bills. You want to have money saved up in case when that occasional red month comes or those couple bad trading days come and you say to yourself, okay, at least I have my emergency funds. At least I have my backup funds because I knew that this was going to happen. The thing is, the more money you have in your account, the less pressure you're going to have. So if you have $1 million in your account, you can trade well and not have to worry about anything because yes, if you take a couple hits, which are going to happen, you know that you're still financially secure and you know that you're going to have time to bounce back and you know that you're going to be able to do this. But the last thing you want to do is be trading with the only little bit of money you have where one mistake is going to put you back in a mindset where you start getting cautious and you start hesitating and you start getting even more nervous. So let's also not forget a very big detail that if you want to become a full-time stock trader, you need to at least have $25,000 to start trading. And I suggest more so you don't fall underneath that PDT rule. So the PDT rule allows us to trade every single day as much as we want nonstop. Most full-time stock traders are going to have enough money to be above the PDT rule. And the reason why they're above the PDT rule is so that they can always be trading. When an opportunity presents themselves, they don't want to say, oh man, I don't have any funds today. No, this is your job. You want to have at least $25,000 so you can trade nonstop, have your funds settled right away. If a hot press release comes on out, if an earnings report comes on out, if a global event happens, if current events happen, if Jerome Powell says this, if financial moves happen, you need to take advantage of it. So if we take a step back here, we need what? $30,000. Get above the PDT rule, stay above the PDT rule. That's what's in our account at this time. We also have $12,000, 4 months of our example of our living. So right here, we have $42,000 saved in our bank account before we can even think about becoming a full-time stock trader. So this is why I'm saying also, it's no big deal if you want to stay a part-time stock trader until you have the time to build this up. Let me trade in the mornings. Let me keep my 9-to-5 job. Let me consistently make money. Let me consistently learn. Let me consistently grow my account. Let me make $30,000, $25,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year plus my 9-to-5 job. Hey, you know what? I'm actually making more money than my 9-to-5 job at this moment. Hey, you know what? I've been doing this the last 1, 2, 3 years of doing part-time trading. I have money saved up in my account. I have $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 saved on up. Let me again have $30,000 in my account. Now I can use the rest for living expenses and let me just keep doing the same thing I'm doing. Now I'm done with my job. Now I'm done with the employees. Now I'm done with the boss. Now I'm done with the commute. I can have my own hours. I can have my own space. I can be my own boss and I can be able to trade with comfort. That's what I want. This is a real transitioning to a full-time stock trader lesson. This is me looking out after you, not me putting you in a bubble, selling you something just for you to say, hey, you know what? That didn't work out. Now I don't have anything. I want to make sure you're prepared. Now, let's keep moving forward here. Let's talk about you become a very successful stock trader. You're doing great. You're winning a lot. You're making a ton of money. Well, I want you to be smart with your money. Now, one of the things is right here. This is a picture of me, 23 years old. Be smart with your money. I started stock trading as a sophomore in college. I started doing great. I started making a lot. I came out of school. I paid off my student debt. I had no student debt a month after I finished school. It was awesome. Killing it, killing it, killing it. Felt like I could not miss whatsoever in the stock market. I saved up about $200,000. Now, a big part that I always wanted was I always wanted a supercar. I always wanted my dream car. I always wanted to be able to buy a McLaren. So guess what? Out of that $250,000 that I had, I spent about 190 of it over on a car. Now, it was great. I was able to get a car. I got my supercar. I was so pumped. I was so excited. I was so happy. But guess what? All of a sudden, I just went from $250,000 to only having about $50,000 left in my account. Now, $50,000, what am I, guys? Give me the world's smallest little violin boo-hoo deck. You have a supercar, you're trading full-time, and you still have $50,000 in your account. But let's also be honest about it. If I'm spending nearly 75% of my net worth on a car, it's probably not the best investment. So what I'm trying to get out of you guys here is, yes, when you start making money, it's an amazing thing. And when you start making money, you start feeling a little invincible and you start spending and spending and spending and spending. But the moment you start spending too much, you got to realize that people become rich broke, which really means that, okay, I made $250,000. Let me go buy a Lamborghini for $250,000. Now you're a broke person with a Lamborghini. So you must be smart with your money. You must say, hey, I'm up 100 grand. Okay, what should I be doing? Let me be doing exactly what I was doing when I had a 9-to-5 job. So, have I purchased vehicles in my past? Absolutely, guys. I purchased vehicles, but I will say that the McLaren was probably not the smartest one because it was just too soon for me. After I then built up year after year after year after year after year, 3 years went by before I got another car. Then again, time went by. Then I got another car. And then I ended up selling my cars and I got a house in Utah instead and put that as an Airbnb investment property. So I was able to purchase my home. I was able to purchase a house in Utah, which is again an investment property. And I'm not spending any sort of money on things that I really don't think that I need to spend money on to be flashy or things along those areas. I've been able to travel, which has been fun. And I personally, enjoy golfing on weekends. I don't want to go ahead and spend $15,000 on a private jet for 2 hours for me to go from New York City down to Miami. I'm okay sitting in economy on Spirit for $23. Like all of a sudden we start getting money and we start changing our lifestyle. This is where a lot of people start becoming broke, is because this is the big issue here. Okay, you guys ready for this? This is you, okay? You at this moment might be making $50,000. Now, you at this moment spending $50,000, you do the normal occasional thing. You spend your money on bills right here. Boom, spend your money on bills. You are spending your money on buying every now and then just some clothes, if that's at Kohl's or Walmart or wherever that you want. So we might say, okay, we get some clothes every now and then. And other than that, we live a normal, modest type of life where we only spend money that when we need to. But this is now you, when now all of a sudden you have $250,000, right? $250,000, you are still spending your money on bills. Awesome. But now your clothes are now not, clothes from Kohl's or Walmart. Now again, your clothes are going to be Dolce & Gabbana. Now my clothes are Louis Vuitton and I'm spending again $1,000 for a t-shirt. And honey, you want to go out to dinner? Yep, let's go get a $750 meal and bring over that bottle of wine for again $2,000. And now, of course, the next day, let's go ahead and purchase that car. Yeah, we're on vacation right now. Let's take the private jet down. It'll be way easier than going through the airport. So there's again $20,000 just for a plane ride. Then on top of that, and you can see how basically, what do we have? Just because we have money here, I might struggle with $50,000. That's a struggle. But now you're struggling with $250,000. Where instead, if we just said to ourselves, hey, let me just get rid of that private jet. Let me get rid of spending $1,000 on clothes. Let me get rid of spending $750 on food. And let me get rid of this extra $2,000. Now, instead of me struggling on both sides as someone who makes $50K and someone who makes $250K, now I'm absolutely thriving with $250,000. So if I can just keep everything exactly the same, and that's something that took me a lot of time to learn as well, is that just because you start making some money doesn't mean you have to spend all your money. Just because you're making some cash doesn't mean you got to start spending every single dollar, every single moment, every single second, right? You can save it and build it and live without stress and live without, being fearful about tomorrow and how you're going to be able to afford one thing after another. So that is something that is very important when it comes on down to me saying invest in the right way. So as you guys know, personally for me, what did I do? I invested in real estate. I was able to purchase my primary residence in cash. I purchased it back in 2021, and it's been probably my best investment I have ever made in my life. Bought my house for $600,000 in cash. It's worth about $775,000 at this moment. I don't have any mortgage payments whatsoever. I wake up and I'm able to live rent-free. That's way better than buying a McLaren or a Lamborghini. On top of that, I also purchased a Utah home. I was not able to afford that one in cash. I have a mortgage on that one, but at the same time, I have Airbnb investors pay off that mortgage every single month, so I'm able to get appreciation while having something that's not depreciating. On top of that, guys, you can also throw your money over into the market, such as the S&P 500. The S&P 500, we know, goes up on average 10% every single year, and over the last 5 years, it's been going up like 20%, it seems like. It just seems like it just goes up, 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 up. So the market's been extremely bullish, where people have been making a ton of money. And last but not least is invest in yourself. So what does this mean? Traders, to honestly make a lot of money, you are going to have to invest in one of these three things: the stock market, real estate, or in yourself, as in some sort of business. Traders, I'll tell you right now that when there is a boss of a company, when there's a CEO of a company, he is the person that usually is keeping the majority of the money and just paying employees what he can, paying employees on what keeps the employees happy. So if you are an employee, you are probably getting that bottom of the barrel while the main guy is keeping all of it. So guess what? Why don't you become the main guy? Well, Deck, I don't know how to become the main guy. You have to just sit down and think of something. Think of, how can I be able to start a business? How can I be an entrepreneur? What do I have? What do I have that other people want? That's what you got to be able to think about. What can I supply? What can I make? What can I create? So you do have the stock market. You do have real estate. You do have business. These are all ways to invest in yourself rather than just going out and buying some sort of vehicle or car. Now, the thing is, guys, hey, trust me. I like supercars. I do. I love cars. I think they're so much fun. I think they're so awesome. I think they're so great. This is not an anti-car speech. I want you to be able to go get your dream car if you want it, but I just want you to be able to do it right and be smart with your money. So, full-time job, just because you don't have set hours, office, or boss doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. Some people will struggle with being their own boss. This is no longer a hobby. This is your life. So, when you guys become a full-time stock trader here, you must understand these points. Remember, I don't want to try to make this whole entire presentation in a negative light. It's such a positive light. It's about being able to do what you finally wanted to do, and it's so amazing. But I also wanted to play a little dad here and say, hey, I want you to do it the right way. I don't want you leaving your job where you are making money if you're not fully prepared. I don't want you leaving your job where you are making money if you are not properly funded. I don't want you leaving your job or the money that you're making if you don't have the right mindset. You must treat this as it's your full-time job. When you're a stock trader, you must be an entrepreneur. Imagine that when you're a stock trader right here, this is your business. You are the person that decides, is your business going to thrive or is your business going to fail? That's what it comes on down to. Is your business going to thrive or is it going to fail? Well, that guy, he makes so much money and I'm doing the same thing. He's probably doing something extra, right? He's putting in work. You're working for 10 minutes. He's working for 8 hours. He was able to trade and have patience on great setups. You traded 17 times already and lost on 16 of them. So the thing is, you are the CEO of your trading account. Put in the hours, put in the work, develop the strategy that's going to make sure that your business thrives, that your business has success. That's what this all comes on down to. Remember these top 3 points right here: experience, bankroll, and you need to treat it as a full-time job. So important, so crucial. I want to see every single person that's listening to this right now become a full-time stock trader. And as always, I'm here to help you live on tradecaster.com every single day, wanting to answer your questions, wanting to make sure that you're growing, and wanting to make sure that you hit this mark, that you hit this level. So let's get after it and let's see what comes on up here next.